Welcome to Empowered to Grow, the podcast. I am your host, Hanan Al-Basha. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Empowered to Grow podcast, this time in business. And I'm really happy that this time as well, I get to have amazing guests that have a lot of value to share, and they're here just to add value to you. So my guest today is Nayef Al-Ibrahim. He's founding partner and CEO of Ibtikar, which is causing a lot of ripples across Qatar and the region. And I guess Ibtikar, if you don't know, and Arabic is not, of course, your first language, it means innovation. And this is what we're talking about today, the universality of innovation. And I know innovation is that term that gets thrown around a lot, but it is important for us to understand where it comes from. And today we're going to be talking to Nayef from his experience. So let me welcome Nayef. Hi, Nayef.
Hi, marhaba. Hi.
Aline, thank you so much for being here today. So let's start by you just kind of telling us a bit more about yourself and what you do.
So, okay, myself, my ID, my name is Nayef Al-Ibrahim. I'm 42 years old. I'm an engineer by profession, civil engineer. I'm a husband, father of 3 kids, Noura, Hamad, and Sultan, 12 years, 9 years, and 4 years old. Yeah. So this is regarding my personal ID. Regarding Ibtikar, I'm the founding partner and CEO at Ibtikar company. Ibtikar mainly was established back in 2011. I joined the company as a founding partner in 2014, and since then I've been managing and leading the company. It's been in the market for the past 12 years. The company focuses on developing and managing innovative solution for capacity building. So we help building capacity through individuals or through corporates as well.
I love that. And I think this is where, when we were having our pre-discussion about the episode, I'm like, this is going to be an interesting part. And let's start at the beginning. Let's take a couple of steps back. Innovation. And as I was saying in the intro, this is a term that's been thrown around so many times in so many contexts. A lot of people associate it with technology, but it's not necessarily that. How do you define innovation from your perspective?
So to us, the way we define innovation, it's a process. And I think it brought so much peace to us. The fact that we're working in the same domain and in the same field and in the market, it brought that piece of us just looking at innovation from this process perspective. So if we look at any gadget, any product, any solution that we are using today, and we see impact of that on us,
yes,
this solution or this gadget in terms of added value did not start from its inception. It started way longer than that. So just realizing and thinking deeply about innovation, I think it's a process of continuous improvement, step by step. And at a certain point, there would be that champion, that company will take the accumulation that took place prior to their existence and take it to the next level. And then another champion will come and will take that legacy to the next level. And this is how us as a human and humanity has progressed since the inception. So this is how we look at innovation. It's that process of continuous improvement, continuous value addition to get its maximum value at a certain stage with a certain stakeholder, with a certain location.
I love that, because as you're saying, this is not just about a one-time thing or a one-time product or solution, and that's it. Khalas, we're done now. We can just rest. There's this build-up of improvements along the way, and this is what we call, the compounding effect. But more importantly, it is not about one person, one entity. It is about that collaborative effort of ongoing. Now, from that perspective, innovation has a lot, as you were just saying, has a lot of applications across different entities, different communities, on so many different facets. from the capacity building, from the human perspective. And I know that's where you are focusing as Ibtikar. Tell us a little more about how you thought about it and what goes into it.
So, to us, honestly, when we started Ibtikar early on, the focus of Ibtikar was focusing on, okay, how can we develop products in education sector, tech products in education sector. So that was the initial inception of Ibtikar. But later on, through our journey developing that product, we discovered a number of different challenges. One crucial major challenge was the talent behind developing that product. From a mindset, from a skill sets, from maturity, from understanding. So, and it made us realize and reflect as well. If we really want to build innovative companies or innovative solutions, and mainly from this region, from this part of the world, and we contribute in human civilization progress and development, we need to get our talent geared up to do that.
I love that.
So, yeah, so if we look today for an iPad, an iPhone, whatever gadget, Whoop, all of that, those are an outcome of people spend time to develop and do that.
Yeah.
So, and our signal was okay, if we look at the global landscape, we're going to see most of the companies are international companies out of the region.
Yeah.
Companies from Far East, companies from Far West, that they really contributed in this human progress and human development in terms of technology and innovation technology. So if it's okay, this is a huge signal, and we really need to work on the capacity, on the human capital, and the results of their outcome will be these kind of iconic companies that could really contribute in shaping the future of technology. So with that in mind, in terms of reflection, another solid story that we had is our founder, Khalid Wajassoum, the founder of Ibtikar.
Yes.
So Khalid established Ibtikar as a company with the idea he wanted to develop products. But then a year later, he joined Stars of Science. And through Stars of Science, the MENA region reality show, he came up with his invention, which is a robotic cooking pot.
Okay.
And to him, that was a huge mind shift transformation throughout the process and experience of the show. And we really can develop an innovative solution, but if we know how to use the right tools, the right process, and the right network.
Yeah.
So reflecting that on himself, he was like, you know what, if that happened with me in just a matter of 4 months with the right resources, with the right equation, what will be the impact if we can really scale and democratize this experience to the masses and to the youth specifically? So it became very clear to us, and you know what, we need to be innovative in developing this kind of solution that could really enable flourishing these kind of skills within the human capital.
And
that became how we look at penetrating innovation, but mainly looking at how can we uplift the human capital performance for them to be able to shape the next wave of technology.
I absolutely love that, because I've always believed that we can only process, the saying knowledge is power. It's not true, because if you don't know what to do with it or how to apply it, then you have no power. And I think a big part of it is that you need to have a different perspective on what you have available on hand, because your actions, and you said mindset, which of course, that's kind of part of my DNA now, is talking about mindset. And mindset really impacts the way you act, react, and interact with life. But that is really dependent on your worldview lens. And if you cannot expand that, you can't be innovative, because you're operating in Qatar, and we know about the GCC region, the Gulf region, and also the Middle East region. We see the innovation, or we are users of a lot of innovative solutions from abroad, but without that mindset that we can be the creators and the pool from which the innovation and innovative solutions can be kind of exported, then we're always just going to be users. We're not going to be the ones that are creating it or augmenting it, as you were saying earlier.
Sorry.
So from that perspective, I know that your work has both kind of private companies, it has governmental institutions and stuff. Let's talk about capacity building within the governmental or the semi-governmental institutions, because that has a wider impact on what is around us.
Okay. So as Ipticar, we provide the innovative solution through two main arms: Ipticar Academy and Ipticar Consultancy.
Mm-hmm.
So with Ipticar Academy is basically focusing on the learning journey that targets students to professional. So with that, we work on developing, customizing, articulating content, all the way till delivering the content and training on the content itself. And with that, we serve multiple areas. One of them is the technology, the ICT area. Another area is the innovation. So we work on the frameworks of innovation. The second element, which is Ipticar Consultancy, basically it's around innovation transformation, mainly corporate focus. Mm-hmm. And with that arm, we provide innovation maturity assessment, tailor-made innovation strategy, all the way to operational model that suits a certain entity, a certain corporate, a certain ministry with their culture to really enable and foster this innovative culture approach within their team member in that organization, all the way till tackling their service offering for their end customers or end users. That's an end-to-end solution, both of them. So with Ipticar Academy, we support individuals. With Ipticar Consultancy, we support the corporate. With the corporate, as you asked, Dr. Hanan, basically most of the governmental entity, they reach out to us to enable them when it comes to execution capabilities, and mainly the government sector. So they do have their own mandates in terms of development mandates. So I'll give you an example. One of them, for example, is the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. They do have a huge mandate when it comes to ICT awareness, ICT capability development, ICT strategy, ICT skills development, the ICT focused product tailored to corporates. So with that, they would require an execution capability that goes from setting strategy all the way to operating teams that could be augmented within their entity to support delivering their mandate to their end users. And the nature of the product, it varies. Some products focus on skills development. Some products focus on providing technical support to corporates and organizations, helping them in that kind of experiential phase where they want to experiment in new solutions, a new service, a new emerging technology in a safe environment before they take a final call and, okay, you know what, let's go full-fledged, full speed, and adapting that kind of solution. So the solution that we provide is always customized to client need, but it falls in both areas, either focusing on developing the capacity for individuals or focusing on developing solutions for corporates.
What have you seen from your perspective, the biggest impediments to people embracing innovation or innovative solutions and changing their mindset? Or is it actually their mindset, the legislative, regulatory framework, the mandate and the vision? What do you think is the biggest impediment?
I would say culture.
Culture, of course.
الculture. يعني أنا to be honest, دكتورة حنان, يعني إحنا we've been approached by leaders within organization or leaders within ministries. And you can see from top leadership level, they do have a clarity على where they want to be next. From support and empowerment.
So that's part of the
vision is there.
The
vision is there. Empowerment, enablement to do things is there. You see what I mean? And with that, there is a very high accountability on those champions leading that. The challenge is within the legacy of the culture itself, within those organizations. Most of those organizations will be used to do things in a certain way. Now, introducing a new approach and new way of doing things always comes in with the sense of uncertainty, sense of insecurity, a sense of
I'm gonna lose my job because that's
exactly
the way
losing job.
Differently,
Or even the simplest reason, and I might be judged. Or I might be challenged.
Yeah.
which wasn't the case in the past decade.
It's the challenge of the status quo.
Exactly. This is the biggest struggle that we've been facing. And this was something common across most of our business conversation with most of the potential clients. They are fully aware that it's an internal challenge.
Okay.
Yes, there's external challenges. There is the political push. There is the market challenge. There is a demand challenge. But all of that could be resolved as long as we have the right internal momentum and internal culture. So most of the demand and request, how can we change our culture? As simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big challenge.
It is.
Does it, as we said, we always kind of think that it starts from the bottom, from the top down, because as you said, that's where the accountability comes from, the delegation, the empowerment, and everything else. But how can we, when we're looking at innovative solutions for capacity building, both have top down and bottom up?
It's an interesting and excellent question as well, because this is what we've been proposing to our clients. And the reason for us to push that, because we already implemented that approach at us at Ipticar.
Okay.
So Ipticar, subhanAllah, I've been using Ipticar as the model where I test things internally, and then after that I start entertaining that approach with our potential clients.
You're walking the walk and talking the talk, and that's important.
يعني to a certain extent, inshallah. So احنا at Ipticar, given the fact that a company was established by a founder, then I joined. The company was organically growing for the past 12 years, 12 years. So for the longest period of the company's growth, it was managed as a top-down approach. A founder, CEO approach, and all of that. And I still remember post-COVID era, a critical question was raised by a team. And okay, Nayef, what's next? What's our strategy? We don't have a clear direction. Where should we go next? Given that we went through the COVID era, which was a financially critical era for us.
Everyone, yep.
So that was a struggle. So what I did, I took 3-4 days off. I sat down. I started mapping the strategy with the company. This we're going to be going in the next 3-4 years. This is what we'll be doing. This is the expectation from each unit, each department, each lead, and all of that. We had a full big meeting, and I introduced the strategy with the KPIs. People were happy, and now we have a clarity as a company, as a team, and even as a unit. But a year later, there was minimal progress out of that plan and outcome. So I felt that there is something wrong about the overall approach. It should be challenged. So with an advice of some of my closest friends and mentors, we ended up hiring a business consultant, a business coach. And her request was, Nayef, if I want to do this, I need to have your full team on board with us and shaping the plan.
Yeah.
So we started with having the full leadership team, including myself and her, in a 3 days dive deep into the previous historical line of the company and looking at the future potential plans with the quarter review with her included and on what have we achieved and progressed.
Yeah.
You can't imagine the difference that was created in terms of vibe and energy. Most important, the ownership across the whole team members.
Of course.
So having people being involved early on as part of shaping the future plans is always will secure a buy-in of the team, which is important for any culture change.
That's true.
So to your point, if we want to look at the top, bottom, top approach, I think it's a combination between both, where a leadership team who shared with us the vision and the commitment and the empowerment that they got from their superior and the leadership of the nation, they need to have this open conversation with the team. Guys, this is what we had in terms of direction, and this is the expectation, and this is the accountability on us as a team. And these are the areas that we need to work on. Tell us, how should we work on those areas? Are those areas valid to work on, or you have a different view on things? And let's put that on the board and let's start challenging the priorities of those. Creating that dialogue, it will start knocking and shaping the potential future culture that will be built based on this mutual different levels communication that will create by time a buy-in and ownership spirit and attitude that we are looking for to really drive change. That could be either if we're focusing on innovation or any culture change in any organization, any team as well.
Yes. But as you said, going back to the kind of how we look at innovation, and that is the improvement in any way. When I was digging deep into the concept of Kaizen, which is, the Japanese concept, and it is about small incremental improvements. And the case study that we're talking about was in the Toyota Corporation, when they're like, there was a stagnation and they're like, okay, we don't know what else to do because the overall strategy apparently wasn't working. And they asked the thousands of employees that they have, what can you do if you were to do something different about your job or your function? What would it be? And just by asking that small question, that's where innovation kind of really blew up across the organization, because first they have accountability, they have ownership, and they started thinking, we keep saying out of the box. I think they started not seeing the box and they started seeing how they can do their job better. And I think that is the concept of that's kind of the source of where innovation would come from, because these are people who are doing a function. They've been hired to do the function. They have the experience because they were hired to do it. But now they're seeing how they can do it differently from a new perspective of how, what you were just saying, how the company is evolving with them, or what externally is happening and everything else. Okay, so that was the challenges. Let's, we've still got a few more minutes. Let's talk about what you are seeing that is kind of blowing your mind, the things that are really working, and you are seeing the ripple impact effect of that.
I think what really is working very well with us, honestly, is this continuous engagement with the client and their appetite and openness to get the feedback from our previous operations and how that could really shape the future plans.
Nice.
So we've been having this kind of a very close, valuable relationship with number of key customers on a contracts of 3 to 4 years, and it's under renew for the next 3-4 years as well. And it was very interesting to see how is their perspective and approach is becoming much more of a proactive, being able to open up to really get insights and feedback from us, but at the same time from the end user, from the stakeholder. And the question becomes, how can we add a better value in the future? How can we play a bigger role in the future? How can we increase the impact that we have in the future? All in all, these kind of signals are very optimistic to us, which shows that, okay, there is this appreciation to the work that's being done, but at the same time, there is a belief in the value that has been met and the impact that has been created out of the process. And the beauty in, okay, the challenging question, how can we do more of this? How can we do a bigger part of that? Which always push us to the edge, and then we need to always be creative on how should we really have this different approach that will have an extra edge to the offering. And why is this important to us, Dr. Hanan? Because we strongly believe if you wanna really build an innovative community, an innovative culture within community, is this continuous practice of things. Yes. So I know, me knowing you personally, I know, mashallah, your son is a professional, is someone who really loves to play basketball.
Yes.
But there is a huge difference if we want him to be to have that as a hobby, or this becomes a profession.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's totally different approaches.
Yes.
But for him to become a profession, we need to really nurture that skills early on, from the school, from the terminals to the club, to potentially national team, all the way. But there's
to the mindset, to the commitment levels. Yeah.
But this has to be continuous cycle, similar to people who would go to the gym on a daily basis versus the spa. A huge difference. You see what I mean? There is an effort that has to be spent here for you to really develop and progress. If we put that that framework in the context of innovation and building that innovative skills with the community, we always need to nurture those skills through the community.
Yeah.
Students through different grades, through different levels, professionals in working environments through different checkpoints, where them being innovative by default is a byproduct of a long process.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what you're saying is really important, because it applies across multiple things. There isn't a magic pill called innovation. Like, here, let me give you that. It is a continuous process. It's a lifestyle change. It's a commitment. It's an investment of time, energy, and resources and knowledge to be able to get to the end goal. Speaking of community, and I can't leave you without asking, you are an active and influential person and also company within the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Qatar and in the region. Tell us how you're seeing kind of the capacity for innovation and capacity building within the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Qatar, provided that, we had Web Summit, we had a lot of amazing things. And I think what has happened over the past few years is really reassuring. But how can we make sure this is not a magic pill versus a commitment for the long term?
Sahih. On that question, Dr. Hanan, the way I look at the ecosystem here in Qatar, I think we do have a huge competitive advantage, but at the same time we have a huge area for improvement. Okay. So when it comes to the competitive advantage, and I think in terms of infrastructure across education, healthcare, market, research and development, I think we do have a solid infrastructure that could really be utilized for the right talent. So this is when it comes to one of the competitive advantages that we have here in Qatar. Another competitive advantage, I think, in my humble opinion, the market is so small in the right portion for us to test any ideas in terms of testing bed.
That's true.
So you can develop your MVP in Qatar market and start testing it on a different segment, either it's a B2C or a B2B, and it will be, and the diversity and the demographic of Qatar, I think it helps that kind of testing phase where things could grow from Qatar to beyond Qatar as well, as the initial phase. So those are the two main areas when it. Hello? Yes.
Yes, I lost you there for a second. So you were saying it's much easier to get the proof of concept.
Sahih. Yes. So those are the two main competitive advantages that we have here in Qatar. On the areas for improvement, I think there is a lot to be done when it comes to retaining, attracting talents in Qatar.
Yes.
So the fact that we have huge investment in the infrastructure, mainly education and healthcare. We do have a large expat community that they invested in their kids.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Those kids were born, raised in Qatar. They do have this kind of emotional attachment to Qatar. They do have this kind of a personal relationship with Qatar where they really value and love Qatar.
Yeah, that's true.
You see what I mean? But unfortunately, the system does not allow, and those people can see a long-term future to stay in Qatar.
Yes.
But we invested so much in building their loyalty through the life experience that they had in Qatar.
Yeah.
And that loyalty is something that we can't get from anywhere else. It gets nurtured through it's part of the process.
Yes, that's true.
فit's haram, and there is no a sustainable long-term solution to maintain a talent that were raised in Qatar here.
Yeah.
On the other hand, when it comes to attracting talent from abroad, talent that are well aligned with the community value, community culture, that they are really looking into, I want to be in this part of the world. I want to raise my kids, my family, where they can really contribute in shaping a better value for the entrepreneurial ecosystem moving onward. So these are the areas between the advantages and areas for improvement. My view, I think we do have a really good opportunity to build something that will have an impact at a global scale, but it would require some time, and it would require a serious, not commitment, but a serious actions for us to be able to build something or create something that will help, as a by default, creating this kind of a big impact.
I love that. Nayef, thank you so much. This has been so enriching and so valuable. And I know that, we've met a few times. We've had our long conversations. I know we can keep expanding on this, but I will respect your time. And I look forward to kind of have further conversations with you and kind of open it up more and address other parts. As you said, at the end of the day, this is a process and everything else that's related to it, but it is for the long term and it is for the commitment. I have one last question for you before I leave you. The show is called Empowered to Grow, and specifically Empowered to Grow in Business. I want to ask you, how does this phrase resonate with you personally?
If I would answer that question, I think the first time you approached me with the title of the show, it clicked with me right away.
Okay, that's good.
It clicked with me right away because, Anna, personally, me being in this business journey, it's always about growth.
Yeah.
And it's always about empowerment. The empowerment that I got from my business partner, the empowerment that I got from my team, that's that empowerment that I got as part of me being associated with this journey, but at the same time, the growth that I got as a byproduct out of that. For the title speaks straightforward to me, honestly.
I love that. Once again, thank you so much, Nayef. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to having future conversations with you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And for everyone, thank you for joining us today. And as always, I wish you love, abundance, and prosperity. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Empowered to Grow podcast. I'll catch you on the next episode. And until then, know that empowered you empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all.